Hello, we are Sophie Monpeyssen and Olivier Girard, two of the 9 co-founders of the Ciel Foundation. We are grateful to have been invited to talk at the World Indigenous Forum this year, and we are thanking you all for your interest in finding out more about the Ciel Foundation. Let's see how we can co-create together.
Wisdom traditions and original peoples around the world have always been at the heart of our organization's core vision. So this is the reason why we feel WIF is like a home for our missions. And we're so very grateful and feel so very blessed to be here with you this year.
We are going to begin with the 8-minute video about the Ciel Foundation and its projects.
And then we'll go into an extensive presentation of one particular initiative that we feel is very aligned with what WIF stands for. The name of the initiative is the Global Sacred Territories Initiative, and it is done in full alliance with 2 other organizations, The Fountain and One Ancient Future.
And we'll finish with a 4-minute video about 2020.
So thank you again for being with us, and we hope that you'll enjoy everything that is going to be following. We'll see you shortly after the end of the presentation.
Le Ciel Foundation is a UK-based charity co-founded in 2016 by 9 women and men from 5 nationalities. Our purpose is to help humanity reconnect to nature and its true nature, and to create a future that supports all life for generations to come. The foundation was born out of a common realization that we couldn't wait for anyone else to create the world we want to live in and leave to our children. A world instilled with positive values and principles that drive every one of our actions. All co-founders are part of the same mystical tradition and received a mission through initiation that for some felt too big to accomplish in one lifetime. We decided to join forces to be in service to one another's missions and created Le Ciel Foundation. In its essence, Le Ciel is an interface between ancestral wisdom and modern society. We act as a trusted conduit for wisdom traditions, protecting their existence and primordial knowledge, which we translate and adapt into practical content, workshops, and models for Western society. We know that alone we can't achieve the global change that is needed, and so we are happy to collaborate with other organizations aligned with the values of integrity, reciprocity, authenticity, transparency, simplicity, and unity. By spreading these values and principles quickly within every layer of society, we are aiming to reach a critical mass of aligned people to tip the scales and create a paradigm shift beneficial to all life. As given by wisdom traditions, 2026 is our deadline to shift from a path of revolution, revolving to the same point, to an ascending global evolution. Our mission is driven by spiritual guidance and consultation, as we were taught in our ancestral lineage of Bwiti. We are learning every day and are doing our best to walk the talk. Our very first mission brought together 12 elders from wisdom traditions across the globe at the United Nations in New York in November 2017. Setting their cultural differences aside, they conducted a unique ritual in complete unity on an ancestral point of concentrated energy. Each of the elders remind us what it means to be human and how important it is to live in harmony with one another and with nature in these troubled times. Their innate wisdom is captured in the feature-length documentary The 12, available to watch for free in 9 languages on our website. Our current missions are based on 3 foundational pillars: education, inclusion, and preservation. Our first pillar is education, exemplified by our first feature film, The 12. We are now working on a version of the film adapted to children and are creating an educational program for schools inspired from the wisdom of the elders. We are also developing an animated series of short films, providing pragmatic tools to apply wisdom to our daily life, as well as a training program for companies based on ancestral wisdom. Our second pillar is inclusion. We collaborate to create models for society that seamlessly blend universal values and principles with a conscious approach to technology and new paradigms of living, embracing our oneness and interconnectivity. An example of this work is the Holistic Vision Symposium, a community of 144 innovators, entrepreneurs, and philanthropists from over 40 countries, facilitated by the Ciel Foundation. Symposium participants learn how to move out of their own way and embrace their gifts, to reach group coherence, to be in service of universal plans, and to tap into collective intelligence. Focused on 12 critical topics, participants are tackling the key issues of our day, encompassing all the elements required to live within a thriving world. The goal is to receive and implement global holistic models that can change the world for the better. Some of these groups are already providing fruit. The Holistic Vision Symposium is building a culture of solution-oriented projects based on 3 questions. Is it good for me? Is it good for the others and all living beings? Is it good for the planet and the next 7 generations to come? Our third pillar is preservation. Le Ciel champions the implementation of reciprocity at all levels of society to create abundance and balance for nature and generations to come. Projects include the Asagaya Declaration for the Protection of Natural Sacred Sites, announced at Davos 2020, and Earth mandates in partnership with the Fountain and ICEED to heal and reactivate sacred sites around the world and build spaces to share ancestral wisdom. Another initiative is around the protection and regeneration of sacred territories and their guardian populations, using templates co-developed with indigenous communities that can be replicated globally on any type of territory. This initiative brings together a network of organizations and individuals in full service of the sites and their inhabitants. If you want a taste of how ancestral wisdom can be applied to your life and the lives of your loved ones, join our global ecosystem and community. Every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. GMT, we host Mind Dives, 30-minute customized guided journeys into your subconscious for you to let go of limiting beliefs and transform deeply rooted programming so that you can embrace yourself and the future you want to build.
Welcome back. We are going to talk specifically about an initiative that is very relevant with the World Indigenous Forum. The Sacred Territories Global Initiative is a result of an alliance between the Fountain, Le Ciel Foundation, and One Ancient Future. We are guided on this journey by indigenous people, original peoples, and they are reminding us that our responsibility as humans is to take care of life, all life, the earth included. They are telling us that we are not a superior species. We are a part of the global ecosystem. And for an ecosystem to thrive, balance and harmony are indispensable. It's time to recognize this and take it on board, because it's one of the main reasons we are now in a time of crisis. We've been warned by the elders and by the elements. We have to change. This process requires the active and responsible engagement of our consciousness with the original instructions at the individual and collective levels. The current situation of imbalance among societies and in their relationship with Mother Earth is due to our misalignment with the original instructions to care for life. These are the foundations of our initiatives. We are on Earth to recreate the peace and harmony we once experienced. Original people know how to behave, respect, cleanse, preserve, and even restore ecosystems. To protect the Earth and all life, there are 2 options. Or we decide that we know better and that everything is perfect, or we stop, breathe, research, listen, and finally, we follow original people's ecological knowledge and bridge it to our modern society to defend not only sacred territories, but Mother Earth herself and all life. Original peoples, I've been saving and keeping the wisdom linked to nature in full humility. They know how to connect and take care of the earth and are generous enough to teach everyone who wants to learn. Giving back to the earth and to its guardians, it's an absolute necessity and the least we can do. We are all responsible for protecting them. It's time for all of us, arm in arm, to listen, learn, and create new ways of living based on clear principles that wisdom traditions share, natural principles. A we sense of being, rather than an I sense of being. Being able to realize that we are part of a group, we are part of a community, we are part of society. We are not alone, we are part of the whole. Alone, we can't do much. Together, everything is possible. Love. Love is respect, listening. Love is allowing harmony to take over and balance to prevail. Time, space, order. Everything is connected. Everything we are doing has an impact on other dimensions. It's time, and the time is now, to put our space in order. Mutual and inclusive participation with self-determination. Recognizing that we belong to the land, it doesn't belong to us. We are here to care for life, and those who do it best, as recognized by many studies, are original people. They do this with their voice, with their teachings, with their knowledge, and they allow the land to breathe better again. Including original people in every single decision about the land is key. They have been guardians forever. Recognition of biocultural diversity. We are all the same, but we are all different. We may have a lot of solutions, but we can't apply them the same way everywhere. We need to recognize that some places need a particular set of tools, and other places will need a different kind of support. Listening to the land first, listening to the guardians of the land is primordial before proposing solutions and to implement them together. Reciprocity. You give, you receive. One of the simplest principles is that when you need something from nature, when you need something from someone, you ask permission, you receive, and you give back. It's a virtuous circle and the cycle of life. Collective dignity. By giving time of speech to original people, by listening to the needs of Mother Earth, by respecting these needs, by offering our help with our new knowledge to collaborate around what is most important, life, we are allowing collective dignity to appear and to exist. According to ancient Mesoamerican timekeeping, a period of 13 years began in 2013 to enable humanity to get ready for the new dawn in 2026. This preparation requires all cultures to unify with Mother Earth through the original instructions. This is best known as a unification process. We know that alone we can't achieve a lot, but together everything is possible.
At the heart of this initiative is an alliance between 3 organizations with aligned missions and visions and complementary resources and skill sets. The Fountain has been enabling collaborative actions that bridge the original principles of ancient cultures into a new vision for sacred economics in service to sacred lands since 2012. They have tied trusted relationships with numerous traditions and elders around the world, and Le Ciel has had the privilege and the honor to be a close partner of this beautiful organization. One Ancient Future is the organization born from topic number 2 of the Holistic Vision Symposium, Sacred Sites and Architecture. Their main mission is the protection and activation of sacred natural sites, with a main focus on international legal procedures to actually protect and regenerate sacred sites on a global scale. The Sacred Territories Global Initiative was built around different mandates and declarations aggregating common intentions to put wisdom traditions and original peoples in the center, to empower and spread their messages, protect their cultures and land, and create a new global way of living based on original principles. The Earth Mandates is a mission led by Mindahi Bastida from the Otomi Toltec people and tradition in central Mexico. He has joined forces with the Fountain and the International Council on Environmental Economics and Development around the Original Nations program, more specifically around the Earth Mandates. These mandates, based on the original instructions, were received in 2013 in Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta by a gathering of more than 150 spiritual leaders and allies. These mandates cover 4 main pillars: the creation of a Grand Council of Spiritual Elders to guide the world in its transformation, the reactivation and healing of Earth's biocultural sacred sites, the building of houses of original thought on all 4 continents to preserve, archive, and spread original knowledge, and the development of intercultural exchange and dialogue as a means to address the doctrine of discovery and put a spotlight on the necessity of rescinding papal bulls affecting indigenous people and Earth itself. For the moment, 4 sacred sites have been reactivated and healed already, and 1 house of original thought has been built. Le Ciel Foundation is a core partner of this particular project. Some important gatherings and declarations also paved the way, like the Asegaya Declaration for the Protection of the Sacred Natural Sites, in which One Ancient Future particularly, and also Le Ciel, have been involved. This declaration was officially launched during Davos World Economic Forum in 2020. The Asegaya Declaration is calling for the ecocentric protection of all sacred natural sites, based on an Earth-centered approach that places the sacredness, integrity, and regeneration of these sites at the heart of all decisions affecting them, regardless of their perceived usefulness, material value, or importance to humans. Sacred natural sites hold intrinsic value for the continuity of all life on Earth and cannot be monetized. They must therefore remain outside of the commercial value chain and receive protection. The gathering of indigenous spiritual elders of South America and the Abya Yala happened in Colombia in 2019 and was a call from the heart of the First Nation to the brothers and sisters of the planet for healing and reconnecting with Mother Earth. The International Indigenous Peoples Alliance to Protect Sacred Sites happened in 2017 on the Black Hills on the South Dakota Territory. And last, during the 2013 gathering of indigenous elders in the Sierra Nevada of Colombia, elders gathered to declare a plan to save life. In 2020, the world as we know it was stopped in its tracks. COVID-induced world confinements put the world populations in a place where they were forced to reflect on modern ways of living and their consequences. A lot of people started to see the world with renewed eyes, having deep realizations and starting to hear the deep calling for change. At the same time, aligned organizations experienced a state of global convergence of their missions and were given more and more opportunities to connect and think about global approaches. With the 4 Earth mandates as a starting point, Le Ciel Foundation, the Fountain, and One Ancient Future started discussing on ways to combine their efforts, expertise, and networks into a global alliance to not only reactivate sacred sites, but protect and regenerate the territories around those sacred sites, and protect and give back their sovereignty to the populations guarding these sites. Foundational principles were defined together for everything that would be in place within this global alliance and initiative. First of all, the 3 primordial beneficiaries of this initiative must be the sacred site and the land surrounding it, the original and ancestral population that have been given the responsibility to care for the site, and all life on the territory: animal, vegetal, mineral, water, air, human, absolutely all life on it. Second, the sovereignty of the local wisdom tradition is crucial. We do not come with ready-made solutions and vision. We come in full service and only act under guidance of the site and its guardians. Thirdly, every intervention on a site must be fully aligned with the culture, the essence of the tradition, the needs of the locality, and follow and be in accordance with original principles and protocols. We started by redefining the notion of territory, not limiting it to the surface, but including the earth below it and the air above it. We took in one of the key elements of the Astegaya Declaration, which is the definition of 3 defined zones. First, the sacred site itself, representing the core of the territory and which can only be accessed by guardians of the site. And then a buffer zone around that core, between the core and the accessible part of the territory. And the community territory where guardians live and the point of connection with the outer world. To adapt to local needs or timelines, available resources, and to target different funding sources with specific fields of interest for them, we can break down the different possible stages and create modules that can be proposed or implemented in a scalable and multi-layered way. The goal here is to co-create programs with the local population calibrated through the prism of their ancestral knowledge and protocols, adapting every service we bring in to their original techniques and traditions in a way that benefits the local model and enhances modern ways of doing with the ancestral know-how. Putting our resources, skill sets, and networks together, we were able to define an area of services that we could put on the table at the disposal of each territory's specific needs. We then organized them into 4 different main areas of interventions so that our collaborative action could be modular, scalable, and be capable of following the natural flow of things. The first module would be the energetic and spiritual reactivation of the sacred site. Following local protocols, traditions, and rituals, we can help and bring in elders from the Earth Mandates Initiative to come join forces and help reactivate and heal the site. The second module would be around the protection of the site itself, the core site, the buffer zone, but also the community territories. This would mean the lockdown of the core site through legal means and or property transfer, but also the creation of the buffer zone itself. And then the property transfer from private to cooperative, communal, regional, or national. And also the creation of governance systems or statuses in which endemic inhabitants are protected and cannot be chased away or dispossessed from the land. The third model covers regeneration of the core site and the buffer zone, and would consist of a mix of local indigenous knowledge and modern technologies and approaches to answer local needs. We can regenerate ecosystems, the flora and the fauna. We can recreate the soil, replant endemic ecosystems, repopulate the fauna and the flora. We also can clean the water on site, because the water is sacred. And of course, the water is absolutely vital to the local population. So we can clean the water on site. We can use conscious and aligned technologies to provide the core and the entire buffer regeneration zone with water that is not only clean, but enhances the regeneration and regrowth process of the whole territory. And then the fourth model will cover the regeneration of the population, the knowledge, the traditions, the sovereignty and territories. And this would mean securing and protecting the cultural heritage. This would mean the creation of the houses of original thought on site, but also the creation of learning centers for visitors situated in or just out of the buffer zone, and securing the protection plan for populations through self-sufficiency and economic independence. Create pilot permaculture projects where ancestral wisdom is mixed with modern techniques, or installation of communal stations producing clean and enhanced drinking water for populations and animals. but also install revenue streams for the local community created through learning centers and cultural tourism via sustainable, respectful, and integrative practices. The idea being to, rather than people coming to the sacred sites in a classic tourist way of coming in, taking pictures, and then getting out, they would actually not access the core zone of the sacred site, but they would access a visitor center where they could have a physical experience, a connection with the sacred site through workshops or transmissions from the local population. And of course, we want to introduce regenerative currencies to avoid the downfalls of the old paradigm currencies. To be able to set up a program set in respect, reciprocity, transparency, and interconnectivity, we are imagining to create a wisdom council to interface with the local guardians of the site during the entire process. And then create a legal council to enforce legal side of the Asegaya and enforce legal protection of living beings on the site. And also enforce the sovereignty of the local community and create the legal framework for the regions, nations to work with, both civil and business, to eventually protect against corporate attacks, because on these sacred sites, there are a lot of precious minerals or precious essences that corporations are seeking to take over. We would create an institutional council to interface with different institutions and partners involved, and create an expert council to complete phase 2, the assessment of the local situation. And with the constant input of local community, come up with systems, proposals, technologies to regenerate, protect, and enable to thrive on all levels, including spiritual technologies, by the way. We would create an operational council to help with on-site operations and interface with community, project managers, and on-site actors. And create a financial council who would manage all financial partners and fundraising. And of course, within this council needs to mirror the biocultural diversity. And so it would mix, local guardians as well as partners that would interact to actually co-create together. And these councils would also be mirrored systematically by local councils on site to connect whatever is happening outside of the site within the numerous partners and what is happening on the site. So this global approach can include many different fields like ancestral wisdom, nature and human preservation, protection of land and people, ecosystem depollution and regeneration, education, community protection, local sustainable economic models. And the diversity of these angles and missions associated with the possibility of modular implementation opens up the range of possible partners that can be associated financially or otherwise. We can partner with local communities, local organizations, but also regions, states, nations, national organizations and institutions, or even global organizations. The Sacred Territories Initiative is a very first step to global transformation. We are just starting with sacred territories and guardian populations because they're so very aligned with nature and the universe, with original principles, and hold such an ancestral wisdom that is essential to actually changing the world and making an impact. That we're taking an example from them and trying to implement templates that can be adapted and can be inspirational for the Western world. So the last thing that we want to add around this initiative is that we decided, all three organizations, to combine our networks and create a galaxy of possible partners, which come around to more than 60 organizations and way more individuals and groups that can all intervene, help support the initiative at any given level of need, depending on what the territory actually needs and what the population have asked for. So it's not three organizations, but actually much more. And of course, this galaxy of organizations agree on the same basic principle, is that we're here to actually learn from wisdom traditions all over the world, and that the primordial knowledge, the original principles, and the connection they have to Earth and the universe is something that we need to instill back into our modern society to be able to create change and be able to create a sustainable future. What I've just presented to you is what we think could actually be put in place. But as we are in full service of the local populations and the sacred sites, well, and we want to follow the protocols and the ritual, well, it might turn out that the actual content of the initiative is totally transformed by that. And maybe a total new framework will be created. But we're absolutely ready for that. We totally accept the fact that this is an initiative that is led by the sacred sites and the guardian populations themselves. So this is an example of what could happen, but it might be something very different, but always for the good of the world, the good of planet Mother Earth, and a better future, that's for sure. So thank you for listening. Hello again and welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed this presentation as much as we enjoyed doing it for you. As we said several times during the video, we truly believe that you cannot achieve anything on your own and that global change will come from massive collaborations between individuals and organizations. So if you feel that you can support this initiative in any way, please feel free to get in touch with us. At the same time, if you are part of a guardian population, or if you know of any guardian populations or sacred territories that could benefit from this initiative, please feel free to contact us. And maybe it's not about what you can bring to the initiative or to the Ciel Foundation. Maybe it's about what Le Ciel can do for your own project or your own initiative. So if you feel that we can support you or help you in any way, well, write us an email to hello@lecielfoundation.com.
And if you want to know more about Le Ciel Foundation and its project, if you want to stream or download the 12 the film in 10 different languages for free, just look at our website, lecielfoundation.com.
Last, if you want to participate to live meditations every Wednesdays with us, please take a look at our mind dives on our website or our Patreon account, patreon.com/Le Ciel Foundation. We again thank you from the bottom of our hearts on behalf of all the team for being here, being present with us and looking at this presentation. We are very much looking forward to connecting and co-creating with you for the generations to come. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
How are we looking after Mother Earth, our home? We're not looking after Mother Earth. And so she's going to shake and show us now what we've been doing. And so we're going to have to start cleaning up our mess.
There are many warnings. The four elements are speaking. The fires, the floods.
When we damage Mother Earth, there are consequences. And that is not simply an issue of agreement, that's an issue of fact.
We are in a critical moment, like none we've ever seen before. The human race, the human beings on this planet have got to wake up to the moment we're in. It's a truth-telling moment.
You can talk scientifically how really it is now or never. We are the last generation. Either we completely reverse the trajectory that we're on, or we are the first species in history that is going to be able to document our own demise.
This pandemic is another warning, because they come once in a while to tell us that we are not that important as human beings.
For some who think that we are on track, are we really? Because how many people are on the street? How many people have nothing? How many people are working like crazy for nothing?
What do we need? Do we need a house for 4 million? Do we need 3 cars? What do we need?
Tenemos que entender muchísimo y esta tecnología, esta ciencia hacia dónde nos lleva. Entonces, va a haber una guerra muy fuerte entre humanos.
People are doing things on this planet that are harming life on Earth. And so, why? Why are they doing that? If we can ask that question with genuine curiosity and not with blame, not with a desire to punish, then we can actually get answers.
We have to stop blaming and judging and being victims. It's time to surrender, release, and start working from heart.
2020, I think, is an alarm bell, a warning, or maybe an awakening for some, I hope.
And it gave us a moment to pause and to look back.
Like a global check-in of what are we doing. And this is, you know, everything is coming up to the light and it's going fast.
Audiencia en el centro, humanidad también, ¿cómo estamos? Nos miremos, pongamos en el espejo, nos miremos, estamos bonitos, estamos bonitos.